Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. So today's webinar starts our leadership team series of webinars where we kind of go through some of the leadership functions in BNI Connect in little short bite-sized segments. Today what we're going to be talking about is the chapter web pages here in BNI Connect. We're going to talk about where they are, where they're located, how to find them, and what you can do with them to customize them and make them your own. The rest of our series to end out the month, tomorrow we're going to talk about the online renewals. We're going to take about a week's break and come back on the 27th and talk about leadership team tools and reports. And finally, the chapter goals for leadership teams on the 28th. Then we'll start the series all over again in March, and we'll go through all of the member webinars as well as these. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started. If you're here with me today on the 15th of February, 2017, you are participating in a live webinar. So please, if you have any questions whatsoever, you can ask them while we're going through the material today. Just drop a note in the questions section. I'll see that pop up on my screen, and I'll be able to answer that as we're going along. If you are listening to this in the future on one of our recording sessions, you can still ask questions. Just email them to support@bniconnect.com, support@bniconnect.com. Yes, I did say this is being recorded, as are all of our sessions. You can find them on our support site by clicking the question mark in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, or by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. All right, so let's talk about web pages here in BNI Connect. Now, every chapter has their very own web page that they can customize. Now, there's a lot of benefits to using a BNI web page as opposed to just going and creating your own website. One of the most important reasons for it is that it will be brand compliant. It also will be constantly updated with the most current information from BNI Connect, because they're all connected to the system. So a lot of times what happens is a chapter will, with all good intentions, go and create their own web page. Usually it's the web designer of the chapter that's just giver's gain and showing off their skills to the chapter, building some credibility, and that part of it's great. But what inevitably happens is they realize just how much work it is to try to chase down all the members to get all their information, like their phone numbers and email addresses and all that other stuff, in order to get it up onto this website. Then as soon as a couple of people leave and a couple of new people on board, and chasing them down for the information, and it gets out of date really, really quickly. When you use one of the BNI Connect web pages, all of that stuff is updated automatically, and all you have to worry about is the creative content. So what do these websites look like anyway, and where do we find them? So if you want to find your own web page, you can do that by clicking this regional website button in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you to your regional website. So every region has their own regional website. Now I'm a member here in Rhode Island. So our website for Cape Cod and Rhode Island is bniri.com. Now to get to the chapter pages, they're actually sub-pages of our regional site. So I go to find a chapter, and here's our chapters within the area. I happen to be a member of the Wakefield chapter. So if I go to the Wakefield chapter here, one of the options here is visit chapter website. And here you can see we have our own URL. So it's bniri.com/Wakefield. Now this right here is pretty much a default out-of-the-box chapter website. That's pretty much all there is to it. But you can see there's a lot of dynamic content in here. So for example, all down the left-hand side here, this is all pulled directly from BNI Connect. So it has the ability to register for a meeting. It has what day we meet, what time we meet, our location, and if any of that changed, it's updated automatically because it's pulling it from the system, as well as our member count and our leadership team and our director consultant and their contact information. This number is also updated, our thank you for closed business. That is on a 12-month rotation. So right now it's showing through the end of January. On March 1st, it will be updated and start to show through the end of February. So it is only updated once per month, not on a daily basis. It has some default text in here and some default graphics. We did add our Facebook page here. We also have our member profile. So every member has their profile on here as well. So for example, I could go to my profile. And again, these are searched by Google, so they are indexed by Google. So there's a lot of visibility out there. Now, as I said, this is a very, very basic web page. There are some people that have gotten really, really creative with these websites. So let me show you one. One of my favorites is the BNI Rugby chapter. So the BNI Rugby chapter, and they're over in the UK. And we can see here the BNI Rugby chapter, and they are in the Warwickshire region. And this is what they've done with their web page. Now, you can see it looks a lot different than mine. Now, there are some common elements. It has the same layout. It has the same information down the left-hand side. So it has the member count and who the leadership team is and where they meet and what day they meet. You can see that they've added some social media widgets over here on the side. They also added some social media widgets here in the upper right-hand corner. And then they really went all out customizing this home page as well. So they've put in a whole bunch of information, some pictures, some videos, some graphics, some registration links, and all sorts of stuff. They put in a map to their chapter as well. So lots and lots of things there. Of course, they have their chapter members. They decided to put a graphic up at top to keep some consistency as they go through the pages, but they have all their member profiles, of course. There's also a gallery you can use where you can upload pictures of your members or your events or anything like that. And let me show you one more. There's one chapter out in California, and I always forget the name of this one. The Golden Ideas chapter. That's what it is. The Golden Ideas BNI. Here we are, the Golden Ideas. And you can see that they haven't done quite as much as the other one did, but you can see they put a map, they put in a little thing where you can click and get a picture of their president. You can also see the building that they meet in. They have an I'd like to visit button. They went with a here's what we're looking for our chapter. Of course, they have their chapter members as well that you can go and look at their profiles. They have their gallery that they've put together. So there's lots of things that you can do, but again, one of the benefits is all you really have to worry about is developing this creative content. So how do you do that anyway? Well, that is all done through the CMS editor. And the CMS editor is really, really easy to use. If you've ever written a Word document, you pretty much can update the chapter website. So let's take a look at how to do that. Now, in order to do this, you do have to have special assignments or permissions in your chapter. You either need to be on the leadership team, so you have to be the president, the vice president, or the secretary treasurer, or a director consultant, or you need to be assigned as the chapter webmaster. So that gets done by your regional office. If if what I'm about to do isn't showing up on your screen, don't panic. Just contact your regional office and say, listen, I'd like to work on the chapter website. Can you assign the permissions? They may have a separate training or a leadership team agreement that you have to sign, but they are the ones that will be able to do that for you. If you don't know who your regional team is, by the way, click on regional website, then click on the contact. And you should have your regional office contact information right there. So that said, the way to do this is once you have the permission, you will see a tools menu magically appear. Under that tools menu, probably the only thing you see is CMS, which stands for Content Management System, and then chapter websites. Now, somebody like myself, I know we have at least one regional person, executive director on the call with us today. I see everything, again, because I'm an administrator. You more than likely will only see the chapters that you have access to, which is in most cases going to be just your chapter. I can click on this link and that will bring me to my current chapter page. Now this is a 100% completely default out of the box chapter page. Nothing has been done to this chapter page yet. If I want to actually edit this page, I need to go under options and click this little edit icon. And this brings us into the back-end editing tools. So you'll notice that there's a bunch of tabs here along the top, the Pages, Library, and Site Information. So this Pages tab has the chapter web pages. So you'll notice that we have the page listed, we have the home page, the chapter members page, then we have the sub pages, member details, chapter details, send message, gallery, and news. So if I go out to the page again here, let me just pull this aside like this. We have our home page, we have our home page. We have our chapter members page, we have our chapter members page. Our member details page. This is our member details page. The chapter details page. Oop, I forced that other page behind. Hold on a second, let me get that back. So we have our chapter details page. That's if I was to click on this chapter name. This is our chapter details page. And then we have send message. Send message is if a member has the send message option turned on, you could click send message and it allows them to send a message to Adam Sandler's email address. It doesn't ever display the email address but allows them to send them a message. Of course, there's a nifty little CAPTCHA button here to make sure that you're not a robot. We also have the gallery and the news. Now you'll notice here gallery is not showing up but news is. Now that's because we can see the gallery page here has the option to show. News has the option to hide. That means that this one is visible and this one is invisible. So if the reason for that is, generally speaking, because that gallery is a bunch of pictures, there's no sense enabling it until you're ready to upload some pictures to it. Otherwise, people are just going to see a blank page. Before I go too much further, let's take a look at these. You'll notice there's two links down here at the bottom in this gray area. We have what's called a preview URL, and we have a live URL. So the live page, if I click on the live page, this is what everybody in the world is looking at. This is your actual functioning web page. The preview URL is the working copy. So what happens is as you're going in and you're editing the website, you're making changes on a copy of the website that nobody else can see. Not until you're ready to show the world those changes and you hit the publish button. Once you do that, it will take whatever you're working on the preview site and copy it over to the live site and overwrite it and refresh it for the rest of the world. So I'll show you what that means in just a second. Before I do that though, let's look at these other tabs. Firstly, we have the library tab. So one of the things is if you want to put pictures or graphics up onto your chapter page, you've got to get them onto the BNI Connect servers or some server on the internet that you can link to. If you'd like to put them onto the BNI Connect servers, you have to put them into the library. Pretty easy to do. All you do is click on the library and go to Images, click the Upload button, and then just go find the images on your computer. So I'm going to click the Browse button here. Let me go to, let's say I want this, the BNI Get Connected, Stay Connected. I can hold down the Control button and do up to 3 graphics at a time. Click Open, Upload, and now these 3 graphics are up there in the library. Now I'll be able to use them when I go in and edit my site later. You can put an unlimited number of images up there. The limitation is that you have a maximum size of 5 megabytes per image, which is a pretty sizable photo or graphic, especially when we're browsing things on the internet. The bigger the graphic is, the longer it will take the page to load. So keep that in mind when you're uploading images. You can also upload like PDF files and documents if you want to link to download a document on your site. This is a little bit of an older CMS tool, so it has this option to upload Flash. I don't recommend it. I don't think anybody's using Flash anymore, so I would kind of say just ignore this particular tab. But if you really, really want to, you're insisting on putting a Flash object up there, you do have the ability to do so. All right, the next thing we have is the Site Information tab. There's really not too much on this that you want to make any changes to. The one thing that you probably do want to make changes to is this right here, the chapter folder name. So that is really your kind of custom URL for your chapter page. Now these are template-driven sites. So what happens is when they're created, they're generated off of this template. Part of what's generated is the actual name of the site as well. So it's going to take the name of the region, which in my case in Antarctica here is the Shiver region, and then it's going to put the chapter name. So, and then put, basically dashes where illegal characters are for web browsing. So if I wanted to tell somebody right now to go to our website, I'd have to tell them to go to antarcticreferrals.com/shiver-region-bni-brr. That's a mouthful. So let's say that I just want this to be antarcticreferrals.com/brr. That is a lot more manageable of a name than that big long one right above it. The rest of this I would leave exactly the way it is, partially from branding purposes. These are just the various buttons that are up in the upper right-hand corner of your chapter page. You can, if you'd like to track who's going to your website and how long they're staying. If you have a Google Analytics or other analytics account, you can drop that code in here. Make sure you hit update if you made any changes. And you'll notice that now our URL has changed. So if I click on this, not found. That's because it's still pointing to the old place because I haven't published these changes yet. So if I go ahead and publish, now when I click on the link, you'll see that it's working. So now our URL is antarcticreferrals.com/brr. So how do we go in and edit these sites now? So that's where we go into this section here under the pages. So again, most of what you're going to do is probably right here on the home page. Now for each of the pages, you'll see we have a couple of options. We have edit name, edit meta tags, and edit content. Edit name, if you don't like home for the name of this page and the name of that button, you can change that to something else. If you want to call it, welcome to Brr, I can change it to welcome to Brr. And then when I go and I look at my preview, this now says welcome to Brr instead of home. Edit meta tags. Now this one is more, I'm going to say, an art than a science, one that I am not proficient in, but this will help your searchability of the site by putting in a good description, keywords, and meta tags. That said, talk to somebody in search engine optimization and they can help you through this part of it in order to get you the best results. Edit content is probably where you're going to spend, again, the most of your time from a creative standpoint. So if I click edit content, it will bring me to the content of that page. Notice something that just happened. This just opened up in a new window, right? So that means that if you click this button, edit content, Nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens. Check your pop-up blocker. It's probably blocking pop-ups. You want to make sure you allow it, at least for this page, for that to be able to appear. All right, so you'll notice once we get in here, this looks pretty much like the page. It's what's called a WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get. There are some differences. You notice here on the left-hand side, I can't do anything with this information over here. I can't type anything. I can't change it in any way. That's all of the information that is pulled directly from BNI Connect. Again, I can't really change these buttons. I changed those by changing the name before. I can't really change anything with the speakers. The speakers, again, are being pulled from BNI Connect. What I'm editing is this central portion of the page. And here's where you pretty much have creative latitude to kind of do whatever you want with whatever's in there. You'll see that up here we have a toolbar, and this has a lot of very common functions. And if you've ever updated a Word document, most of these should look pretty familiar. For example, I can go in and I can make things bold. I can italicize things. I can underline things. I can change the make this big 24-point font, and I want it to be in red with a yellow background. All very, very basic things that you can do from just a pretty much word processing standpoint. I can do bullets and numbered lists and all sorts of things like that. Most of these are fairly self-explanatory. Some things that you will find here that you may not find in a normal document editing is that one common thing to do is to hyperlink things so that if you click on something, it brings you, usually to another web page. So for example, if somebody clicked on BNI here and I wanted that to bring them to the BNI corporate site, what I would do is click this link button. It looks like a little chain link. This allows me to now redirect that to another page. So I can make that go to www.bni.com. And that way, when somebody's on the site, if they click the word BNI, it will take them to bni.com. The other thing that you'll likely want to do is to put those pictures that you uploaded into the library into the website. So for that, you just go and you find a place that you're going to put it, and you can click this picture button. Now, if you're hosting it on another server, you can put that hosting link in there. If you're hosting it in BNI Connect, click on Browse Server. That will take you into the library. We have some default stock photography in there for you, but you also have, here's the 3 things that I uploaded. And let's say I want to get this Get Connected, Stay Connected in there. And I can drop that picture in. Whoa, that is huge. Let me click on that. Click on the picture button again, and let me shrink that up a little bit. I want that to be a lot smaller. It'll keep the ratio for me. That's a lot better. Keep in mind that the pictures can also be hyperlinked, so you can hyperlink the picture. And let's say I want that to go to the support site, so I want that to go to support.bniconnect.com. Now, if somebody clicks that picture, it'll take them there. For those of you that are HTML coders, this is your chosen profession, there is a source button up here in the upper left-hand corner. You can go directly into the source code of this and be able to modify it right there. This also allows you to do things like embedding videos and other forms and whatnot that you wouldn't be able to do through the WYSIWYG editor. When you're happy with what you've done, click the Save button. If you like what you see, click Close. Right, and if I go to my URL, I should see our gorgeous new, hold on a second. I forgot to publish. You have to publish that site before it will be available to everybody else. So it'll show up on my preview site. If I wanted to, I could go through and test this out, make sure the links are working, for example. And looks like that BNI link is working. Let me make sure my Get Connected link is working. And yep, that takes us to the support site. Great. Now I can feel free to publish that. Now if I go to the live site, you can see my old site has gone away and my gorgeous, newly updated chapter webpage is now here. All right, the one final thing that I'll show you today is if you want to, you can also enable that chapter gallery page. So in order to do that, let's say I want to show this page. So I would click Show, click on Submit. Now on my preview URL, I should now see a gallery tab. And you can see here why it is by default shown as off because it is completely blank. So if I want to go in and edit that, this is actually done. If you were watching closely, you'll see that a new tab has shown up here, and it's the Gallery tab. So this allows me to go in and add those albums of pictures. So I can start by creating an album. Wicked cool pictures. Click Submit, and I can start building my photo album. Go in and manage photos. Now the photos I can only do one at a time because each one's going to require a title. But I can select a photo here. Upload that. And now if I go back, I'm going to publish this. And I can see the gallery is now active. I got my wicked cool pictures. And I can check out that photo. And on that note, we are just about at the bottom of the hour. So what I'd like to do now is to open this up for any questions. Does anybody on the call today have any questions about the chapter websites here in BNI Connect? Love to answer those questions now. While you're thinking of any other questions, just a reminder, this is being recorded. If you would like to go and check out any of the recordings, the place to find those, of course, is on our support site. So just click this question mark here in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you over to the support site. Live and recorded webinars. You'll see all of our recordings here, as well as the ability to register for next month's webinars. John, excellent. John says, can we add any additional pages? Unfortunately, John, you are limited to just those pages. That being said, that news page and the gallery page can somewhat be repurposed to do what you might want to do with them. But other than that, you are limited to those particular pages. So excellent question, John. Thank you so much. Hope that helps. Crystal says, can someone search this page without being a member of BNI? Will they be able to look at all the different tabs? Absolutely. That's one of the great things about these pages is they are fully out there on the internet. You know, if you recall, right in the beginning, I went to Google. Well, that's not what I wanted, just Google. And if I do a search for BNI Wakefield, right? This brings me to the BNI Wakefield website. So, yeah, Burr chapter BNI. Let's see, Antarctic referrals. Oh, so I just created this site, so it hasn't cached it yet, but this is absolutely open to the public. But great question, thank you. Awesome, do we have any other questions? All right, if there's no additional questions, I will say thank you guys so much for being here today, learning more about BNI Connect and how it can help your chapter. If you have any questions, feel free to email them to me, support@bniconnect.com. In the meantime, have a great rest of your week and happy connecting.